I wanted to do this additional video to talk about 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 17 and just explain what's going on there. In verse 17 it says, "For Christ sent me not to baptize but to preach the gospel, not with the wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ should be made of none effect." If you lift that out of the context, it will seem that Paul is making light of baptism. And I don't think that's the case. If you back up to verse 11 and you look at the context, you're going to see there were divisions in the church. Verse 11, "For it had been declared unto me of you, my brethren, by them which are in the house of Chloe, that there are contentions among you." So the word got back to Paul that there were divisions. Why? "Now this I say, that every one of you says, I am of Paul, I am of Apollos, and I am of Cephas, and I am of Christ. Is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized in the name of Paul? I thank God that I baptized none of you but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had baptized in my own name, and I baptized also the household of Stephanas. Besides, I know not whether I baptized any other." So they were dividing over who baptized them, and they were congregating in that fashion and creating cliques. That's a very bad thing. Now, here's the thing. There is no authority in a man to baptize. Now, John had authority, but that authority was transferred to the church, and so the church has the authority. That keeps this sort of thing from happening. And so Paul is backing off of all of that and saying, you guys are creating divisions based on these individuals. I'm glad that I wasn't really a part of that. But in reality, what we see is that they need to be unified. And he deals with this in chapter 12, and he tells them how to get there in chapter 13. Now, when you get to 14, he talks about some other frictions that they have, but here you see, he is not saying that baptism is not important. The context is that they have division. So I want to encourage you that when you read the Word of God, to read it in context. Try to read an entire chapter, try to read an entire book, look at the whole thing, because when you do, it changes things dramatically and it puts you really in context as to what the writer was really trying to say. May God bless you, and thank you so much. May we just really grow in truth. Take care.